Jack woke early on his first day of physical training. His body still felt strange in the lighter gravity of the space station. He could jump higher and lift more than he could on Earth. The Academy handbook warned human students not to show off these abilities. It might scare the other aliens. The training area was a huge dome at the center of the station. One side had running tracks and exercise equipment. The other had obstacle courses and what looked like fighting rings. About 50 cadets from Jack's year gathered in the middle, wearing matching gray workout clothes. The instructor was a tall, lizard-like alien with green scales and a long tail. A badge on his chest read, Commander Sev. "Welcome to basic physical training," Commander Sev said, his voice deep and hissy. "I am here to assess your natural abilities and place you in the correct training groups." The commander's yellow eyes scanned the crowd before stopping on Jack. "I see we have a human this year," he said. Several cadets turned to stare at Jack. "That will be interesting." The first tests were simple. They measured how fast each cadet could run, how much they could lift, and how well they could climb. Jack tried to hold back, remembering the warnings about not showing his full strength. But even at half effort, he outperformed most of the other students. After lunch, Commander Sev posted the training group assignments on a big screen. "Most of you will join either the adaptation track for low-gravity species or the standard track for mid-range worlds," he explained. "A select few will join the high-performance track for naturally stronger species." Jack saw his name in the high-performance group along with 5 others. He wasn't surprised. He'd expected to be placed with the stronger aliens. What did surprise him was how few were in this top group. Just 6 out of 50. Those in the high-performance track meet at Training Field 3, Commander Sev ordered. Training Field 3 was an outdoor area with trees, rocks, and a small stream. It looked like a piece of wild forest inside the space station. Jack joined the 5 other cadets there. None were human, but they all looked like predator species from their home planets. "You 6, Commander Sev said, pointing at each of them, "represent the top predator adaptations in the Academy. Your training will be different, more challenging. You will learn to use your natural advantages while controlling your instincts." Jack studied his new training partners. There was Grax, a cat-like alien with golden fur, long claws, and quick reflexes. His world, Leonis, was known for its deadly hunters. Next to him stood Kira, a blue-skinned female with webbed hands and gills along her neck. She was an Aquarian, evolved to hunt both on land and underwater. Dorn looked like a bearman, thick brown fur covering his muscular body. His species came from an ice planet where only the strongest survived. Vela had feathers instead of hair, with sharp eyes and light, hollow bones. Her bird-like features made her look delicate, but Jack noticed the dangerous sharpness of her gaze. Finally, there was Nero, a gray-skinned alien who moved so quietly Jack sometimes forgot he was there. His large black eyes suggested he was used to hunting in darkness. They all kept their distance from Jack. They'd all heard the stories about Earth and its deadly conditions. "Today we begin with a simple team exercise," Commander Sev said. "Capture the flag. Your team will defend your flag while trying to capture the other teams. You will compete against standard track cadets." The commander pointed to a red flag planted on a hill across the field. "That is the enemy flag. Yours is here." He planted a blue flag in the ground beside them. "You have 10 minutes to prepare your strategy." After the commander left, the 60 cadets looked at each other awkwardly. No one wanted to speak first. "So," Jack finally said, "any ideas?" Grax flexed his claws. "I am fast. I can run and take their flag." "They'll expect that," Kira said. Her voice bubbled slightly like she was talking through water. "They'll have guards." "I can smash through guards," Dorn growled, pounding his fist into his palm. Vela shook her feathered head. "That's not strategy. That's just force." "What do you think, human?" Nero asked quietly, his dark eyes fixed on Jack. Jack looked at the field, studying the terrain. He could see the other team, 12 standard track cadets, preparing on the far side. They looked nervous about facing the predator team. "They expect us to attack like animals," Jack said. "They think we'll use speed and strength because that's what predators do." So we won't. What will we do then? Grax asked, his tail twitching with impatience. We'll use our brains. Jack knelt and drew a map in the dirt. Here's what I'm thinking. When the exercise began, the other team sent 8 cadets charging toward the Predator team's flag. They clearly expected to win by numbers. Meanwhile, their 4 remaining teammates guarded their flag, but the Predator team was nowhere to be seen. Jack had positioned everyone in hiding spots around their flag. Grax climbed a tree. Kira hid in the stream. Dorn crouched behind boulders. Vela perched on a high branch with a good view. Nero blended into shadows under bushes, and Jack waited quietly behind a fallen log. As the enemy team approached, confused by the absence of defenders, Jack made simple hand signals to his teammates. Signals he'd taught them during their planning time. Each signal told them exactly when to move. When the attackers were just feet from the flag, Jack whistled once. The trap sprung perfectly. Grax and Vela dropped from above. Dorn and Nero emerged from hiding spots. Kira leapt from the water. Jack stood up behind the attackers. In seconds, the entire enemy team was surrounded. At the same time, Jack had sent no one to attack the enemy flag. This confused them so much that they left their positions to see what was happening. When they did, Jack gave a second whistle, and Kira sprinted silently to capture their now unguarded flag. The exercise was over in less than 3 minutes. Commander Sev's scaly face showed surprise. That was unexpected, he said, his tongue flicking out between words. Cadet Miller, where did you learn these tactics? Jack shrugged. Hunting with my father back on Earth. When you're tracking mountain lions, you learn to think like them but outsmart them. A visible shudder ran through the watching cadets. The idea of hunting predators seemed to shock them. Very effective, Commander Sev said. Class dismissed for today. That evening, Jack sat in the common room reading his assignment for xenobiology class. He sensed someone approaching and looked up to see Grax standing there. May I join you? The cat alien asked. Sure. Jack moved his books to make room. Grax sat, his tail curling around his feet. I wanted to ask about what you said earlier. You hunted apex predators on your world. For sport? Not exactly for sport, Jack explained. Sometimes for protection of livestock, sometimes for environmental management. Earth's ecosystems need balance. Grax's ears flattened against his head. On my world, we respect apex predators and avoid their territories. On Earth, Jack replied simply, humans are the apex predators. Grax stared at him with new understanding. The next day at training, Jack noticed a change. When Commander Sev ordered them to run drills, the other 5 naturally positioned Jack at the front. No one had discussed it or voted on it. They just did it. Over the next 2 weeks, the Predator Pack became the top training group in their class. They won every exercise, completed every challenge faster than expected, and worked together better than any other team. And through it all, Jack never once had to show his full human strength or speed. He just used his mind, his planning skills, and his understanding of how predators think. One day, Commander Sev called Jack aside after training. Cadet Miller, I have a question. The lizard commander's voice was quiet. The other instructors, and I have been watching your team. You have managed to unite 5 different predator species who would normally compete with each other. How? Jack thought about it. On Earth, humans learned long ago that a coordinated pack is stronger than a lone hunter. We're good at making teams. But they follow you. A human they feared just weeks ago. They follow me because I don't try to dominate them, Jack explained. I respect their strengths and show them how to use them better. Commander Sev nodded, slowly. Interesting. Most predator species establish dominance through displays of strength or aggression. Humans learned a different way, Jack said. We lead through cooperation. As Jack walked back to his quarters that night, he realized Lily had been right. The other aliens had stopped being afraid of him, but they hadn't exactly become jealous either. Instead, they'd become curious, respectful, even friendly. For the first time since arriving at the academy, Jack felt like he belonged, not despite being from Earth, but because of it. His Deathworld had taught him skills these aliens needed: how to face danger, how to plan, how to lead. Tomorrow would bring new challenges. The Predator Pack would face their biggest test yet, the famous Nexus Wilderness Challenge. But Jack wasn't worried. His team was ready, and somewhere along the way they had become his friends. The Nexus Wilderness Challenge is not a game, Commander Sev told the gathered cadets. It is a test of survival. Jack and his Predator Pack stood with 30 other teams in the Academy's main hangar. Each cadet wore a backpack with basic survival gear. The mood was tense. The Wilderness Challenge was famous for its difficulty. Each team will be dropped at different locations in the northern wilderness of Nexus Prime. Commander Sev continued. Your mission is simple. Reach the extraction point 50 kilometers away within 3 days. The commander's yellow eyes swept over the nervous cadets. The wilderness contains dangers, unknown plants, wild animals, extreme weather. Not every team completes this challenge. He paused. Some teams require rescue. Jack glanced at his teammates. Grax looked excited, his tail twitching. Kira seemed calm, checking her water purification tools. Dorn flexed his massive arms, clearly not worried. Vela's feathers fluffed with nervous energy. Nero stood silently, his gray face unreadable. Each team has an emergency beacon, the commander added. Use it only in life-threatening situations. Activating it for any other reason means automatic failure. Teams began boarding small dropships. Jack's team climbed into shuttle number 6. The inside was cramped with just enough seats for the 6 of them and the pilot. Ever been in a real wilderness before, human? Grax asked as they strapped in. I grew up in Montana, Jack said. My backyard was wilderness, Dorn grunted. Earth wilderness with Earth predators, this is different. Predators are predators, Jack replied. Some basics are the same everywhere. The shuttle lifted off and flew for about 20 minutes before, hovering over thick forest. A side door opened. The drop point was a small clearing on a ridge. Good luck, Predator team, the pilot called as they jumped down. See you at extraction, if you make it. The shuttle zoomed away, leaving them, alone in sudden silence. The air smelled different here, rich with unfamiliar plants and a hint of something musky. First steps? Kira asked, looking to Jack. Vela should scout, Jack said. Her eyes are the best. Vela nodded and quickly climbed the tallest tree. She perched near the top, scanning the horizon. I can see the extraction beacon, she called. Down. It's a flashing light across the valley. Jack climbed up to look. From this height, he could see their position clearly. They stood on a ridge overlooking a vast forested valley. On the far side, maybe a day's journey away, a small light blinked on another ridge, but between them and the beacon was a wide clearing. And in that clearing, large animals moved in herds. What are those? Jack asked, pointing. Vela's keen eyes narrowed. Grassers, big plant eaters. Like your earth rhinos, I think. Jack looked closer and saw darker shapes moving around the edges of the herd. They moved with the smooth grace of predators. And those? Vela hissed softly. Nexus stalkers, very dangerous pack hunters. They climbed down to report to the others. Kira's blue skin paled when she heard about the stalkers. The Academy specifically warns against encountering them, she said. They're highly intelligent hunters. They work together to bring down prey much larger than themselves. We can go around, Nero suggested, speaking up for the first time. It would add an extra day, but we'd avoid confrontation. Jack studied their map. Going around means mountain climbing to the east or swampland to the west. Both have their own dangers. The shortest path is through the valley, Grax said, his golden eyes gleaming with excitement. I say we take it. Dorn crossed his thick arms. And what about the stalkers? Fight them? No, Jack said firmly. Fighting is a last resort. First we observe them, learn their patterns. Then we can make a smart plan. They made camp on the ridge, taking turns keeping watch. In the morning, They hiked down to the edge of the forest bordering the open valley. Here they could observe the stalkers without being seen. The stalkers looked like a mix between wolves and big cats to Jack. They had sleek black bodies, powerful legs, and jaws that could probably crush bone. They moved in a pack of about 15, circling the herd of grassers looking for weaker young ones. Jack watched them for hours, noting how they communicated with body language. He spotted the alpha pair, larger than the others, directing the pack's movements. He also located their den site, where younger stalkers stayed under the watch of older ones. They're smart, Jack told his team. They have guards, scouts, and hunters. They protect their territory and their young. So how do we get past them? Vela asked. Jack thought for a moment. They're territorial. That's something we can use. By afternoon, Jack had formed a plan. He gathered the team to explain. Predators defend their territory against other predators, he said. We're going to make them think another predator pack has entered their territory from the opposite side. How? Grax asked. Scent markers, Jack replied. We'll use our food, rations and some local plants to create a false trail on the far side of the valley. Kira looked doubtful. Will that work? It works on Earth, Jack said. Worth trying here. They spent the rest of the day preparing. They mixed their protein rations with sap from the trees to create a strong smell. Then Grax, the fastest, carried the mixture to the far side of the valley, carefully staying downwind of the stalkers. They camped another night, and in the morning, Jack woke everyone before dawn. The stalkers should find our false trail soon after sunrise, he said. When they move to investigate, we'll cross through the gap they leave. As the sun rose, they watched from the forest edge. Sure enough, the stalker pack grew agitated. The alpha male raised its head, catching a strange scent. After some pacing and growling, the alpha led most of the pack toward the false trail. Now, Jack whispered. They moved quickly but quietly across the open ground. The grassers saw them but showed little concern. The 6 cadets were much smaller than the stalkers they feared. They were halfway across when trouble found them. A young stalker left behind to watch the herd spotted the team. It raised its head to howl in alarm. Before it could make a sound, Jack was beside it. He moved so quickly that his teammates barely saw him go. His hand gently but firmly clamped around the young predator's muzzle. Easy now, he murmured, looking directly into its eyes. We're just passing through. The stalker froze. Its eyes showed confusion. This creature walked like prey but acted like a dominant predator. It didn't know how to respond. Jack slowly backed away, keeping eye contact the whole time. When he reached his team, they moved quickly toward the far forest. The young stalker watched them go but didn't call its pack. Instead, when Jack released it, it ran in the opposite direction. What just happened? Dorn asked when they reached the safety of the trees. I showed dominance without aggression, Jack explained. It's confused, but it knows we're not prey. You touched a Nexus stalker, Kira said in disbelief. No one does that, Jack shrugged. It was just a juvenile, not fully trained yet. They continued through the forest, climbing the ridge toward the extraction point. By sunset, they could see the Academy's outpost at the top. They arrived just as darkness fell. The Academy officer in charge checked them in with surprise. Predator team? You're the first to arrive. We didn't expect anyone until tomorrow, at the earliest. We found a shortcut, Jack said simply. Later, as they ate hot meals in the outpost's dining hall, Commander Sev arrived by shuttle. He looked at Jack's team with new respect. The tracking system shows you crossed directly through stalker territory, he said. How did you manage that without injury? We distracted them, Jack replied. And then we encountered a juvenile stalker, Grax added, unable to contain himself. It was about to alert the pack when Jack grabbed it by the muzzle. Commander Sev's reptilian face showed shock. You physically confronted a Nexus stalker? I just showed it we weren't a threat to its territory, Jack explained. Or prey for its dinner. The commander's tongue flicked out nervously. Cadet Miller, stalkers have killed experienced hunters. They're apex predators on this world. Jack smiled slightly. So are humans on Earth, sir. That night, as the team rested at the outpost waiting for other teams to arrive, Vela sat next to Jack on the observation deck. The stars shone brightly overhead. "Jack," she said quietly, "I've been thinking about what happened today." "What about it?" "On my world we have a saying, know the predator by how it hunts. Today I realized something about humans." Her feathers rippled in the cool night air. "You didn't try to fight or kill that stalker, you communicated with it." Jack nodded. "Fighting is risky. Communication is smarter." "Is that the human way?" Vela asked. "Sometimes," Jack replied. "We can be violent when we need to be. But we survived on Earth because we learned to understand other creatures, to predict them, to respect them." Vela's bird-like features softened. "The Academy teaches us that Earth is the most dangerous world in the Alliance, a place of constant threats and survival pressures." "It can be," Jack admitted, "but it's also beautiful, full of life and color and amazing things. Maybe that's what makes humans different. We learn to see beauty in dangerous places." As they watched shooting stars streak across the alien sky, Jack felt a new connection with his teammates. They no longer feared him because he was from a death world. They respected him because of what that world had taught him. News travels fast in closed spaces. By the time Jack and his team returned to the main Academy station, everyone had heard about their success in the Wilderness Challenge. The story had grown with each telling. Now cadets whispered that Jack had fought off an entire pack of Nexus stalkers single-handed. "That's not what happened," Jack told a group of wide-eyed junior cadets who cornered him in the dining hall. "We just used their own instincts against them. No fighting involved." But the truth didn't stop the rumors. Jack found himself the center of attention wherever he went. Cadets who had once avoided him now wanted to sit near him in classes. Teachers called on him more often. Even Administrator Zyrtak seemed less nervous during their monthly check-in. "Your performance has been noted by the Academy Board," the insect-like alien told him, antennae moving in what Jack now recognized as approval. They are pleasantly surprised. Life changed in other ways too. One morning, Jack returned from a shower to find Grax moving his belongings into the empty half of Jack's room. "What's happening?" Jack asked. Grax's whiskers twitched in a cat smile. "The Academy finally approved roommate requests for Deathworlders. I volunteered." Jack blinked in surprise. "You want a room with me? I thought everyone was afraid of humans." "Not anymore." Grax set a hollow image of his home pride on the nightstand. "My family thinks I'm crazy, of course, but I told them in a station full of prey and predators, I'd rather align myself with the apex." That afternoon, Jack received a message to report to the Combat Training Center. Commander Sev was waiting for him. "Cadet Miller, the end-of-semester combat assessments begin next week," the reptilian instructor said. "I want you to demonstrate some earth fighting techniques for the class." Jack hesitated. "Are you sure that's a good idea, sir? The Academy regulations warn humans about displaying physical abilities." "Those regulations were written before we fully understood humans," Commander Sev replied. "We now recognize that your species' strength isn't what makes you unique. It's how you think." The combat assessment day arrived with much excitement. Each cadet would face training droids programmed to fight with different alien techniques. The droids couldn't cause serious injury, but they could definitely knock a cadet down. Jack watched as his classmates took their turns. Some did well, using their natural abilities effectively. Others struggled against the unfamiliar fighting styles. Then it was Jack's turn. His droid opponent was huge, nearly 7 feet tall with thick limbs. It was programmed to fight like a Krellan warrior, a species known for brute strength and charging attacks. "Begin," Commander Sev ordered. The droid rushed forward, arms outstretched to grab Jack. The watching cadets held their breath. A Krellan charge could break bones. But Jack didn't try to match the droid's strength. Instead, he stepped slightly to the side, grabbed the droid's arm, and used its own momentum to flip it over his hip. The massive machine crashed to the floor with a bang that echoed through the training center. The room fell completely silent. Jack stood ready as the droid got back up. This time it approached more cautiously, throwing a heavy punch at Jack's head. Jack blocked, redirected the force, and used a simple judo throw that sent the droid tumbling again. 3 more times the droid attacked. 3 more times Jack used its strength against it. He never struck a single blow himself, just redirected the droid's energy and let gravity do the work. When Commander Sev called stop, the training center erupted in applause and excited chatter. Efficient, the commander noted. Most species attempt to overpower Krellan attackers. On Earth, we developed martial arts that allow smaller opponents to defeat larger ones, Jack explained. Physical strength isn't always the deciding factor in combat. A blue-skinned cadet raised her hand. Is it true humans can chase prey until it dies of exhaustion? Jack smiled. Some traditional hunters still practice persistence hunting, but most of us just go to grocery stores now. No one laughed. If anything, they looked more impressed. The idea that humans had become so advanced they no longer needed their natural hunting abilities seemed to enhance the mystique. That evening, Jack returned to his room to find a message on his terminal. It was from his grandfather responding to Jack's update about the Wilderness Challenge. Not surprised, kiddo. The galaxy needs what Earth teaches, not just how to survive the dangerous places, but how to thrive in them. Humanity's greatest strength isn't that we're tougher or scarier than everyone else. It's that we can be gentle despite being tough, and kind despite knowing fear. Keep showing them what it really means to come from a death world. Jack smiled as he read it. His grandfather always understood things before everyone else. A knock at his door interrupted his thoughts. Administrator Zertak stood there looking more formal than usual. Cadet Miller, may I speak with you? Of course, Jack said, inviting the administrator in. Zertak's compound eyes scanned the room before he spoke. I've been instructed to inform you of a significant policy change. The Academy Board has been reviewing our approach to Death World species, particularly humans. Jack waited, curious. Your performance this semester has been illuminating, the administrator continued. The board has decided to approve the expansion of the Human Cadet program. Next semester, 15 new human cadets will join the Academy. That's excellent news, Jack said, genuinely pleased. Earth needed more representatives in the Galactic Alliance. There's more, Zertak added. The special containment protocols for human quarters will be discontinued. Your successful integration has proven them unnecessary. Jack couldn't help grinning. So no more reinforced walls and emergency buttons? Indeed not. We now understand that a human's true power lies not in physical strength, but in adaptability and problem-solving. The administrator's antennae twitched in what might have been embarrassment. We may have misjudged your species initially. After Zertak left, Jack sat on his bed, thinking about how much had changed in one semester. He had arrived feeling like an outsider, feared, isolated, misunderstood. Now he had friends respect, and had helped change how the Academy viewed humans. The next morning in the dining hall, Jack didn't sit alone as he had on his first day. His table filled quickly, first with his Predator Pack teammates, then with other cadets from across the spectrum of Alliance worlds. Some were predator species, others were what Earth would call prey animals. All wanted to hear Jack's perspective. Is it true Earth has these things called hurricanes that can destroy entire cities? Asked a small rabbit-like cadet. Yes, but we have warning systems now, Jack explained, and buildings designed to withstand them. And you have animals called bears that can tear a being apart? Asked another. Some bears can be dangerous, but most avoid humans, Jack said. We've learned to coexist. A delicate plant-based alien leaned forward. What I don't understand is how you can live with such dangers and not be, well, more aggressive, more fearful. Jack thought about his grandfather's message. I think living with danger taught humans something important. When your world can kill you any day, you learn to appreciate the good moments. You learn to work together, and you learn that strength doesn't always mean fighting. Lily Hernandez, the senior cadet who had welcomed Jack on his first day, stopped by the table. She smiled at the scene. See? Told you it would get more interesting, she said. Next year, you'll be the one helping new human cadets adjust. Looking forward to it, Jack replied. As he looked around at his new friends, Jack realized something important. The phrase Deathworld Cadet no longer felt like a label that set him apart. It was simply one part of who he was, a human who had brought something valuable to the Yao Academy. Earth's classification as a death world had shaped how aliens initially saw Jack. But it was his human qualities, curiosity, adaptability, and cooperation that ultimately defined his place here. The greatest lesson from Earth wasn't how to survive danger. It was how to create safety for everyone despite the dangers. That was the true gift of a death world perspective. Jack Miller, the death world cadet who made predator packs run away, had found his place among the stars, not by fighting or intimidating, but by understanding and leading. And soon, more humans would join him, bringing Earth's unique viewpoint to the galaxy. Ethan Miller wiped sweat from his forehead as he stared out the window at the blue-green planet below. 10 years ago, he fixed buildings in Chicago. Now, he stood on a spaceship talking to aliens. Life was funny that way. The USV Pioneer hummed, around him its metal walls gleaming under bright lights. Earth seemed very far away now. Ethan touched the small photo in his pocket, his parents smiling back home. They never believed their son would speak for all humans one day. Ambassador Miller? A voice broke his thoughts. They're ready for you now. Lieutenant Olivia Wright stood at the door, her dark hair pulled back tightly. Her blue uniform looked perfect, not a wrinkle anywhere. All ready? Ethan took a deep breath. How do I look? Olivia smiled. Like someone who hasn't slept in 2 days, sir. Honesty isn't always the best policy, Lieutenant. Ethan laughed, straightening his jacket. Is Dr. Garcia done with the briefing? Notes? Yes, sir. He added new information from yesterday's scans. She handed him a small screen. The cultural team thinks you should read it before we land. Ethan nodded, taking the screen. The small ship that would take them down to the planet waited in the docking bay. Inside sat 6 other humans, scientists, language experts, and security personnel. This was humanity's big moment. Nobody wanted to mess it up. Let's not keep our new friends waiting, Ethan said, walking toward the bay. The small ship dropped through space, entering the thick atmosphere of Tauri Prime. Through the windows, Ethan saw vast cities spreading across the landscape. Tall towers reached into the sky, connected by bridges that looked like spider webs. Lights pulsed along these connections, moving like blood through veins. As they descended, Ethan read Dr. Garcia's notes on the small screen. The words made his head hurt. The Taurian reproduction cycle includes genetic material from 3 separate donors, the report said. No single Taurian claims ownership of offspring. Children are raised in communal centers by trained specialists. The concept of parents does not exist in their society. Ethan frowned. Humans had sent messages about their culture, but clearly some things needed more explanation. The landing was smooth, the ship settling onto a circular pad near a massive dome-shaped building. Through the windows, Ethan saw a group of tall figures, waiting. Their skin shimmered with colors that shifted like oil on water. Remember, Dr. Garcia said to the team as they prepared to exit, their skin colors show emotions. Blue is formal, green is friendly, red is angry or threatened. If you see purple, they're confused. What about white? Asked Lucy Bennett, adjusting her son Sam in her arms. The 3-year-old boy was the only child on the mission. Lucy, a single mother and the team's top biologist, had refused to leave him behind for the 2-year mission. White means extreme surprise, Garcia answered. Let's hope we don't see that. 1. The door opened with a soft hiss. Warm, sweet-smelling air rushed in. It reminded Ethan of cinnamon and something he couldn't name. Ethan stepped out first, blinking in the bright sunlight. The Taurians stood about 7 feet tall, their bodies slim and graceful. They had no hair, their smooth heads slightly pointed. At the top, most striking were their eyes, large and completely black like polished stones. One Taurian stepped forward, skin rippling with blue and green patterns. Ethan recognized this as Ambassador Lixta from the video communications. "Welcome to Tari Prime." The translator device on Ethan's collar converted the musical sounds into English. "We are pleased to continue our exchange of knowledge and friendship." Ethan gave a small bow just as he had practiced. "The honor belongs to Earth, Ambassador Lixta. We bring greetings from all humans." The formal greeting complete, the Taurians led the humans toward the large dome. Inside, the air felt cool and smelled like flowers. The walls curved upward, meeting at a point hundreds of feet above. Light filtered through sections of the dome that looked like colored glass. "This is our Hall of New Beginnings," Lixta explained. "All important first meetings happen here. Your species is the third we have welcomed to our world." The first meeting lasted 4 hours. They discussed basic trade possibilities, scientific cooperation, and future visits. Ethan found the Taurians direct but polite. They seemed most interested. In human art and music, concepts they found pleasingly chaotic. When the formal talks ended, servants brought food and drinks for a reception. The humans had been warned about Taurian food. It wouldn't poison them, but it might taste strange. Ethan sipped a blue liquid that tasted like sweet potatoes mixed with lemon. Lucy stood nearby, talking with a Taurian scientist about earth plants. Sam sat on her hip, looking around with wide eyes at the tall aliens. Some Taurians glanced at Sam with obvious curiosity, their skin flashing yellow patterns. A small Taurian approached their group. Unlike the adults who stood 7 feet tall, this one reached only to Ethan's chest. Its skin flickered with bright yellow swirls. "Is this a young one of your kind?" the translator conveyed as the small Taurian pointed at Sam. Ethan nodded. "Yes, this is a human child. His name is Sam." The young Taurian moved closer, skin now showing patterns of yellow and blue. "Small human," it said, reaching out one 4-fingered hand. Sam giggled and reached back, touching the Taurian's shimmering fingers. "Pretty," Sam said. Lucy smiled. "Sam, this is a young Taurian. Can you say hello?" "Hello," Sam repeated happily. The Tair, young Taurian's skin rippled with fast-moving patterns. "Your offspring speaks already? Ours do not use words until the 4th cycle." "Human children learn to talk early," Lucy explained. "Sam is 3 years old and knows many words." Other Taurians had gathered around now, watching the interaction with interest. Their skin showed various patterns of yellow and green, curiosity, and friendliness. Ambassador Lixta joined the circle, her tall form towering over the humans. Sam looked up at all the faces surrounding him. His eyes found Ethan, and he pointed excitedly. "Daddy!" The room went completely silent. Every Taurian's skin flashed bright white at once, like a room full of sudden camera flashes. Even the young Taurian stepped back, its skin pulsing between white and purple. Ambassador Lixita's skin settled into an orange pattern as she looked between Ethan and Sam. The translator struggled to convey her tone, but the confusion was clear. "Why? Does this child call you father?" she asked, her large black eyes fixed on Ethan. "Are you claiming to be its genetic source, its keeper?" Ethan realized suddenly that despite all their preparation and cultural briefings, they had missed something important. The most basic human relationship, parent and child, was completely alien to the Taurians. "I am his father, yes," Ethan said carefully. "I helped create him, and I help raise him." The Taurians' skin colors shifted rapidly, communicating among themselves in ways the humans couldn't understand. Ambassador Lixta's orange color deepened. "Individual beings claiming offspring," she said, her translator making her musical voice sound flat. "This is unexpected." Ethan glanced at Lucy, who held Sam closer now. The room felt tense, the friendly atmosphere from moments ago replaced with something uncertain. "Perhaps," Ethan suggested, "we should discuss human family structures at tomorrow's cultural exchange." Lixta's skin slowly shifted back toward blue, though flecks of orange remained. "Yes, this requires further understanding." As the reception continued with strained politeness, Ethan wondered how many other simple, human concepts might cause problems. First contact was turning out to be more complicated than anyone had imagined.